What is going on, sports fans? It's your boy Fanatic back from the Fanatic Sports Talk. Today is January 21st, 2021. We have another good show for you on hand today. We're going to be talking from a wide range here, from the Collin Sexton having a huge night for the Cleveland Cavaliers, leading them to a win over the Brooklyn Nets, all the way to the Packers GM Ted Thompson passing away. We're going to have a good show. We're going to hop right into it. Lot of big news. There's the ticker right there. Collin Sexton, like we said, starting off our show with a bang. Collin Sexton, 42 points against the Brooklyn Nets with James Harden, KD, and Kyrie Irving. I said this was going to be a game to watch, and it was. Double overtime. The Cavs beat Brooklyn 147 to 135. James Harden was looking good. Durant was looking good. Kyrie was looking good on his return. So it was a really good game. But like I said, Collin Sexton, I think they said he had the second most points that a Cleveland Cavalier has had in a game. So a huge night for him. 42 points, 5 for 9 on the free throw line. And like I said, the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant, 38 points. Um, James Harden played 50 minutes, 21 points. Kyrie Irving, in his return, Kyrie Irving from his break, 37 points. Really good game. I mean, Collin Sexton, only a second or third year player in the NBA. What a way for him to come step up for the Cavs when they needed it. The Nets were on a 5-game winning streak that got snapped because Collin Sexton had such a big game. So, amazing game for Collin Sexton. Definitely a way to start off the show with a bang today on this Thursday. The Cavs, with this win, do improve to 7-7 on the year. They hit 500. As for the Brooklyn Nets, this loss does fall them to 9-7. So they are still having a good year, but it does bring them down a little. Like I said, they were on a 5-game winning streak. This is the first loss the Nets have had with James Harden. So a little milestone there. And like I said, mainly because of Collin Sexton. I mean, he played so well, but yeah, Collin Sexton, Alabama too. Good basketball player out of college. He was drafted by the Cavs, and he's had a pretty good career. But good way to start off the show here. Another big story: Michael Brantley. I know yesterday we said he signed with the Blue Jays, and he was going to make the Blue Jays look like a dangerous team. But news today coming that the Blue Jays deal actually got called off last minute. So Michael Brantley, not a Blue Jay. A little weird there. A lot of people thought Ken Rosenthal, Buster Olney thought Michael Brantley and the Blue Jays was a done deal. But today it came out that the Houston Astros actually re-signed Brantley back to a 2-year, $32 million deal. Brantley was a free agent. And like I said, the reports were Wednesday that he was going to sign with the Blue Jays. He was going to sign with George Springer, Kirby Yates. He was going to make a stacked Blue Jays team. But, I mean, unfortunately, it came a little too early because the official report is that he signed with the Astros. I mean, just a huge up and down roller coaster. If you were either a Blue Jay or Astro fan, if you're an Astro fan, you thought you were going to lose him. Now you got him back, a Blue Jay fan. You're probably pissed that the reports were messed up and that he's staying with the Astros. Brantley has hit at least 300 in his last 5 seasons since 2014. Really good player. He had 5 home runs, 22 RBIs last season in just 46 games with the Astros. So he definitely is a good left fielder. It I mean, like I said, it doesn't give the sport a good look when reporters are saying this guy's officially going to a team like the Blue Jays that got George Springer and were on the hot seat, and then he goes back to the cheaters in the Houston Astros. So I think it's definitely a little bit of a weird situation, something that the MLB has never seen before, and something that I don't think they wanted people to see. So it's not really a good deal. And like I said in yesterday's show, the reports were he would go into the Blue Jays. They didn't have a deal though in place, no contract, no years, no dollars amounts. As George Springer and Kirby Yates both had set in stone contracts. George Springer 6 years, 150 mil. Kirby Yates 1 year. So I think there were some rumors that the deal wasn't going to get done to the Blue Jays, but I think that a lot of people thought because Ken Rosenthal and Buster Olney were saying that he was going to the Blue Jays that the sources must have been right on that one, even though they were not right. Michael Brantley staying with the Astros. Some interesting news there. And then moving to the NFL side, they also had a signing, even though it's not really the free agent portion yet. But Dwayne Haskins, former quarterback of the Washington football team, signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Very interesting move there. Dwayne Haskins got cut by the Washington football team. Um, and Washington lost to Tampa in the first round. Alex Smith couldn't get the job done. He got cut this year. He started against the Panthers earlier this year, and Taylor Haneke had to come in and play quarterback for the Washington football team. But an interesting move that the Pittsburgh Steelers would pick up Dwayne Haskins. It does kind of raise the question: do the Steelers have faith in Big Ben anymore? Ben Roethlisberger getting a little bit on his older side, maybe kind of leaning towards retirement, like we saw with Philip Rivers and Drew Brees. Or maybe they're just losing faith in him. Maybe they think that, he's not as good as he used to be. He led him to an 11-0 season and then kind of choked that second half. And Mason Rudolph isn't anything impressive from the backup spot. So I think Dwayne Haskins would make a good backup. And if the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, if he starts losing faith in Big Ben, I think Dwayne Haskins is the guy they can turn on to be a reliable quarterback to throw, because they have so many good receivers. They have Juju, um, Chase Claypool, Johnson. Just they have so many good receivers. I think that this is a team, the Steelers, that they can be making something next year. They have a tough division with the Browns, the Ravens. I just think they got to go out there. They got to use Dwayne Haskins effectively. Maybe not go Big Ben every game, but if Ben is playing well, they got to keep him in. Dwayne Haskins, I think, is just going to be kind of a backup role, but this is such big news because the Washington football team cut him, and their backup couldn't lead them to a win over Tom Brady and the Bucks. They did have to win that very crappy NFC East division with the Giants, Cowboys, and Eagles, which no one was going to win. So they snuck in the playoffs. They didn't have any chance against the Bucks. I think everyone knew Tom Brady was going to come in and wipe the floor, and he did. But Dwayne Haskins has a new home with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This one is it's not official yet. The sources are saying this. As we learned with Michael Brantley, the sources isn't going to be officially right. But Haskins also, he's represented by Brian Levy, who's also Mike Tomlin's agent. So there was a lot of rumors about this one. And I think that Haskins, Rudolph, Big Ben. I think that you could see the Steelers looking at some quarterback depth. And if you also look at Josh Dobbs, currently the third string quarterback of the Steelers, is hitting free agency. I don't know how much buzz he's going to have around him, but the Steelers are in need of a quarterback. So they go out, they get Dwayne Haskins. I think it's a good move for the Steelers. Like I said, the only issue is he's got to stay on the field. Dwayne Haskins has a lot of issues off the field. I think he got some drugs. I think he maybe had a DUI. I'm just saying he's got to stay a good man off the field so that he can get on the field and play football, because he is not a bad quarterback. He's actually a pretty good quarterback. But like I said, it's just when he does all that off-field stuff and the team forces, I mean, they have no other choice but to cut him. That is how you know you have a bad quarterback. It's a lot like the Mets pitcher, Henry Mejia. The guy, I mean, he was a decent pitcher, but he kept doing drugs after drugs, and the Mets eventually I think he actually got banned by the MLB. But he has to stay on the field. And I think that they should be looking good here. And staying in that NFC East division, the Philadelphia Eagles have themselves a new head coach, Nick Sirianni, I believe is how you pronounce his name. The former offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts is going to be the Eagles' new head coach. I think it's a pretty good move for the Eagles. I think they they didn't have the best of years in 2020. I think they won 5 or 6 games. But he did lead the Indianapolis Colts to an 11-5 record, 5th in the NFL in scoring, made the playoffs. He is just really an overall good guy. He is replacing Doug Peterson, the former Super Bowl winning coach of the Eagles, and I think this is a good move. I mean, Peterson 4-11-1 is what the team went in 2020. He went overall 46-39-1. I think that Peterson had that one good year, and I think Sirianni, he's done stuff in Indianapolis. He's worked with guys like Hines and Taylor and Philip Rivers. He knows an experienced offense. I wouldn't be shocked if Sirianni comes in, revamps this entire Eagles offense, because their quarterback situation's an issue with Carson Wentz. I think they got rid of Nick Foles, but they don't really have any big options. Injuries killed them this year. Deshaun Jackson, um, I actually can't even name most of the receivers. They were relying on like Boston Scott. I mean, they were faced with so many injuries this year. Zach Ertz, hopefully he can have a comeback year in 2021. So I think that this is really a big thing. The Eagles just did not score. That was their big issue in 2020 was their lack of scoring and lack of offense because their defense wasn't losing them games. It was their offense. And it was pretty clear too that offense was killing them. And I mean, when you win 4 games and you don't really score, I think that hurts you. And then you look at a team like the Colts, who's the ninth highest scoring team, and they win 11 games. So it really kind of shows you the NFL, you need scoring and you need defense, and the Eagles just didn't have scoring. And they're hoping hiring a guy like Nick Sirianni can really come on and help rebuild this offense because the Eagles aren't a bad team. They are playing in a pretty bad division with Dwayne Haskins, and actually his former team, the Washington Football Team, the Giants, the Cowboys. It's this year was the Eagles' year to make a run. It was really anyone in that division's year to make a run. So I think that they kind of lost out this year, but the Eagles they're going in the right direction, and I think that the new head coach is definitely coming. Doug Peterson. I don't know what's going to happen to him. I can definitely see a team hiring him. Um, I don't know what teams will be hiring him, but he's definitely an experienced quarterback that has a Lombardi trophy. So I wouldn't be shocked if Doug Peterson does end up with a job somewhere. And we're still talking about Washington. COVID issues hitting Washington pretty hard tonight. The Washington Wizards were due or actually last night, the Wizards were due to play the Charlotte Hornets, but because of COVID issues, the Washington Wizards had no other choice but to cancel their game for actually I believe, fifth straight game. They haven't played a game in almost 10 days. And you look at their season, the Wizards are having a pretty bad year. They started the year 0 and 5, and they won 2. They're 3 and 8 on the year. COVID is not really going to affect their season. I mean, they're still going to be pretty bad, the Wizards. But when you look at the other side of Washington, you have the Washington Capitals, who is one of the best teams in hockey. Alex Ovechkin, one of the best players in hockey, has to miss at least 4 games due to COVID's. So I think this is definitely huge. I think the other players named were Samsonov, Kunzov, and Orlov. I don't think I pronounced any of those right. They have to quarantine though, and they're gonna miss the next 4 games. So 4 big Capitals players that have to miss the next 4 games due to COVID. So Washington not doing well with COVID. I'm shocked I don't know if this is due to COVID, due to like the inauguration or what the deal is. I think the Capitals violated those 4 guys for breaking league protocol. So I think that one was on them. But the Wizards, they've been out for a good chunk. I don't think it has anything to do with the inauguration, but I think they have a lot of COVID issues and they gotta fix them. I mean, the Wizards want to be able to contend, and playing against teams like the Celtics and the Nets and that division, they have to be playing games. 3 and 8 isn't gonna be putting them far. The uh, the Wizards' next game, I believe, is against San Antonio on the 24th. So hopefully by this Saturday they should be good to play. It's at San Antonio. They actually don't have another home game until January 29th against Atlanta. So they have almost a week until their next home game. So I think they should be fine by then, but it's just a matter of do they play those road games or do they take some time off or what the deal is. I think that COVID, I mean, it's been a weird season. I think you had to have expected this, but I think that the Washington Wizards and the Capitals, that's a coincidence or it just shows Washington, you got to be more protective about COVID. You can't be going out in public and spreading it everywhere. Would have been interesting though if the Washington football team was still in the NFL playoffs, if they would have, been hit by these same things and potentially would have had to miss an NFL conference championship. So it definitely a little scary, but I mean it's the COVID season. You almost had to know this was gonna come. Um, and actually speaking of the NFL, we're gonna do the NFL injury report here this weekend, this Sunday. 2 big games: the Bills and the Chiefs, and the Buccaneers and the Packers. The big one, Patrick Mahomes. He is still in COVID protocol, but he is practicing with the team. So there is a chance that the league might not clear him, or there is a chance that the league does clear him. We don't know. The game is in 4 days or so, so we don't know if the league's gonna clear him or not. But in order for him to play, the league does need to clear him, or not the league, but the private protocol for concussion group does need to clear him in order for him to play. I mean, him practicing right now, I think is a sign that he might be healthy, but it's a matter of can he pass that concussion protocol, because those people aren't related to the league. They're just doctors that think if you're healthy, you can play. So he's got to pass a private concussion protocol. It's because I can tell you right now, if the league was giving out that protocol, they want Mahomes playing this weekend. So they would be giving Mahomes an okay thumbs up, but I don't think this private institution is going to be doing that this quick. So it's going to come down to Mahomes being able to pass that. He's, like I said, technically still in it, but he is practicing. Um, I and I think I mentioned this yesterday. If Mahomes misses the games, the Bills have an easy ride to the Super Bowl. Just because Chad Henne isn't really a quarterback, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Sammy Watkins all missed last week's game. So there's a lot of injuries with that Chiefs team. I also did see Antonio Brown of the Buccaneers might miss this week. He is listed as questionable. So I think that, I mean, he's not a huge force for Tom Brady, especially in the cold Green Bay. I think that's going to be more of a running game for Fournette and Ronald Jones. But I think, if they're losing an offensive weapon like Antonio Brown, they're going to need guys like Mike Evans and Rob Gronkowski to really kind of step up and, give Tom Brady guys who he can throw to, because they're only one step away from the Super Bowl. You can't have a slip up stop you from getting to that Super Bowl. And especially Tom Brady, who's experienced enough to know not to go to guys or to go to guys. I think that, Antonio Brown isn't going to be missing much. I think it's really going to come down to can Tom Brady execute. And I still think the Packers are going to, pull away with that game. Actually, I just think that the Packers are playing at home. I think they should have a chance, but there's always a chance they get upsetted. I mean, Tom Brady, he's looking really good right now. He's playing really good football. He upsetted the Saints. He beat the Washington football team. He's playing good football, and I think that they can bring that into Green Bay. It's just going to be a matter of can they adapt to the conditions. Which, by the way, Tom Brady used to play in Foxborough. He's used to the cold conditions, so I don't think that's going to throw him off. If he was playing someone like a Jameis Winston, that probably would throw him off. But I don't see Tom Brady getting thrown off by that. And like I said, if they win, they would be setting an NFL first of playing in a Super Bowl in their home stadium, because the Super Bowl this year is at Ronald James Stadium or Raymore James Stadium in Tampa Bay. So they're going to do something. The Vikings almost did it when they hosted the Super Bowl. They got knocked out by the Eagles. The Bucs are one step away from hosting the Super Bowl and playing in the Super Bowl. They just have to beat the Green Bay Packers. And to close out our show here, talking about the Green Bay Packers, Ted Thompson, the Green Bay Packers GM, passes away today at the age of 68. He had a very long resume. He drafted Aaron Rodgers, who could be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He won a Super Bowl. I mean, he just was a great GM. I think he played in the NFL for 10 years with the Oilers, and then from 2005 to 2017, he was the general manager, and then he was a consulting role from 2018 to the present. He was inducted into the Packers Hall of Fame, which is a high honor. And I mean, this wasn't really, thrown out there that he had a condition he died of. It was not COVID related. He had a health condition. And it wasn't really announced to the public what that health condition was. This was kind of a shock to some people, but Matt LaFleur, their head coach, I think definitely kind of saddened by this. I mean, I think it was actually his very first pick in the NFL draft. He picked Aaron Rodgers, 24th overall. Um, I mean, he's one of the greatest GMs. I think, one of the greatest GMs in the history of the NFL. I mean, unfortunate though, he had to pass away. Ted Thompson, 68. But yeah, we honor Ted Thompson. And finally, we have What to Watch. The only segment here, we give you 3 games every day that are on tonight that we think can be very, close, very good games to watch. Actually, all 3 games tonight, basketball games. We have 1 in the NBA and 2 college games. The very first game we have tonight is in the NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers going against the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. The Lakers entered the game with an 11-4 record. They They've gone 9-2 over their last 11 games, so they're playing really hot basketball. They did lose last game to the Golden State Warriors. They actually blew a lead late, and that actually snapped their 6-game winning streak, or 5-game winning streak they were on. So they're looking to get that back here against a good team in the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo. And then you look at the Bucks; they're playing hot basketball right now too. They are 7-2 in the month of January. They're looking to add yet another one to that resume. I think they are actually scheduled to play Washington next on Friday, so there's a chance they might get postponed there. But the Lakers, it's gonna be a good game. Lakers, Bucks, 7:30 tonight on TNT. Should be a good basketball game. Really should, kind of decide some outcomes because I believe both of these teams are in first place of their division. So it's two first place teams. Um, I believe right now the Bucks are actually favored by 2 points, so that should be interesting. Keeping on the hardwood, we're going to go over to women's basketball in college. The number 3 ranked UConn is taking on the number 25 ranked Tennessee. This is one of the greatest rivalries in women's basketball. You have UConn, Tennessee, Gino Auriemma, Pat Summitt. Unfortunately, Pat Summitt, I think, retired and is no longer coaching. And Gino Auriemma passed Pat Summitt's record in wins, I think, a couple games ago. But I mean, those are two of the greatest coaches to ever coach. Yes, I think in all of college sports, you have Gino Auriemma, Pat Summitt. I mean, it's one of the greatest rivalries. Like I said, I mean, the two of them are the greatest coaches. They're both ranked. UConn coming off of an absolute beating, 103-35 over Butler. They won that game. And Tennessee, like I said, 9-2, 25th ranked. UConn looking to get back to prominence. They haven't won a national championship in I think 4 years. They've gotten knocked down in the Final Four every year. So they are number 3 ranked, 8-0 on the year. They're looking to add another one. That game's on at 7 o'clock tonight on ESPN. If you're a fan of good basketball, good coaching, good rivalry, you might want to watch this game tonight at 7 o'clock. And then my final game tonight, maybe not the strongest one, but 9 o'clock tonight on ESPNU. 24 ranked UCLA men's basketball takes on Cal. Pac-12 matchup, UCLA playing really good, 11-2. Playing really hot basketball, especially lately. Cal, Cal's been struggling here, but it should be a good, Pac-12 matchup. UCLA did take the earlier meeting, so they do have the upper hand in this one, but it should be a good Pac-12. I mean, these are two good basketball schools. I don't know how competitive it's going to be. I think UCLA might, kind of run the tables early, but it it's still a basketball game. And I mean, during COVID, like I said, with all these cancellations, it's basketball. I mean, you really just gotta get what you get. And I mean, another thing I kind of threw it on here. UCLA is on a 6-game winning streak. They have not lost since Christmas. So they've won every game they've played since Christmas. That has been 6 straight games, all against conference opponents. They're looking at another one here, and like I said, Cal has the home court advantage, which I think could help them. Um, especially with only a couple months to go before March Madness. I think that this win could be huge for UCLA, or it could be a huge upset for Cal. That game's on 9 o'clock tonight on ESPNU. Should be a good one. Those are my 3 games of what to watch tonight. That's gonna just about do it for this January 21st show. Tomorrow, we close out our first week on the Fanatik Sports Talk Show, our Friday episode. I'm gonna give you my picks and updates for the NFL playoff games tomorrow, as well as the Conor McGregor fight on Saturday. I'm gonna give you my opinions on that. But that's gonna do it for today's episode of the Fanatik Sports Talk. Every day, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, either live or recorded here on YouTube. And that's going to do it. So, peace out.